Happy Wednesday night, everyone. Welcome to the Write Up. I'm Amber, Director of Writing with Design, and we've got Meghan and Tabitha on, two of our amazing team members. And we're just honored to be with you tonight as the school year gets kicked off. Some of us are already back in school. Some of us aren't quite there. Yeah, Meghan, you, what are you, a weekend yet?
Day 3. Today was day 3.
Okay. I was rushing it a little bit.
No.
Yeah. Lots of schools getting back going now. So it's just that time of year. So happy start to the school year. And we are really excited about tonight's episode to talk through some really fantastic ways to bring meaningful writing into your classroom here as you get to know your students and get the school year started right. So let's dive in to our slides here. So let me switch to this. And just as Mr. T says, it's back to school, not back to fool. So we don't want to waste time for students. We don't want to do prompts that are just for the sake of writing. We really want students to have prompts and writing experiences right from the beginning that are meaningful and purposeful and really build their confidence. So let's begin by just talking about the bad prompts. What do we see? What makes us cringe when we walk into schools? And there's Nixie. Okay, Tabitha, came over. Everyone, we got to talk to Nixie here.
This is Nixie. She's very stressed that I'm leaving, even though I'm clearly in the middle of a thing. Yeah, I know. She's like, it's also my dinner time. So.
Yeah,
okay, just lay down.
Our unofficial but should be official mascot right there. Little Miss Nixie. So yeah, I mean, Nixie knows too. There are such bad prompts that we see in classrooms, and we know teachers mean well, and we want just to make sure that we don't keep repeating what we are calling tonight the usual suspects. So starting off, what did I do over summer break? Asking students that just is really hard, because a lot of times students don't feel like they did anything fun, even if they did, or even if they had a very quote unquote boring summer, there's still magic in that. There's still something for them to share about that. And a prompt like that just puts so much expectation on them. So what else for you all? Which of these do you not like?
Tell me everything about you. Go.
Yeah. Oh, also write a letter to your teacher, because like at the first week of school, all the kids are like, I don't even know you. Yeah. I won't tell you nothing about myself.
Yeah. I mean, all of these are really cringy. And so, because they're just so open-ended and they're just kind of just overwhelming for students. So, so we definitely are wanting to encourage you not to do these at the start of the year.
Yes. Well, and not only are they, you just said a word. I want to say vague. I feel like you just said vague. These are fillers, right? Like they're not teaching writing. They're made just to fill up a time slot. So you say that you're going to use them to gauge writing, but we all know that we don't ever look at these again, right? And we're assuming a lot about kids when we ask them to just write, when we don't know, anything about them. And honestly, for me, I always feel like this sets a precedent for the rest of your school year that writing isn't serious. And when you have these kinds of prompts, the kids start to associate writing with something they don't like doing. And so in a month, when you get to your serious essay, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do this because it wasn't serious last time. But a lot of times with this, we're asking the kids to be vulnerable, but we're not supporting it. And that's very stressful to kids.
That's a great point.
Yeah. I would say also, like, because I just went through the first 3 days of school, by time, if you're like the last class period, the students have already seen these same exact prompts like 3, 4, 5 times, because this is like the teacher go-to. So when they get to your class and you're doing the exact same thing, there's really not building any connection between you and your class, you and your students, or even the students with each other. It just doesn't give them any kind of personalized voice when they're writing these same prompts over and over and over again. And often I'm always thinking about, equity and inclusivity with my classroom, specifically ones that are like, tell me what you did this summer. Well, some students didn't have a fun summer. Some students don't have goals that they want to set. It really often excludes some of our students, especially those that have socioeconomic differences or have learning differences. And that, again, is starting off kind of on the wrong foot.
Yeah. And I think you nailed it, because these are easy to assign, but they're meaningless for students. And that's something we want to avoid. So we want to talk about poetry, because if those prompts don't work, what does? And truly, this is where we feel poetry has such power throughout the year, of course, but at the beginning of the year, it's such an accessible way of writing and approaching writing, because it's not at the sentence level. And Tabitha and I just last week and Meghan, we were right there with you in Colorado Springs working with schools. And that was one of the big things that we talked about. We did our write-up last week on that, of just the power of writing at the 1 to 2 sentence level in all grade levels. And now I feel like this week we're even saying, like, hey, don't even worry about full sentences, right? Like, even phrases have such power. And that just I like to think about, like, leaving out little breadcrumbs for students. Like, it just kind of helps them down the path of writing without the alarms going off in their head and without them feeling just so overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. And poetry, crazy enough, does give students a different kind of structure. And it's enough structure to support them, but it also does give them that kind of beginning of the year freedom that all of these, like, bad prompts, that teachers are aiming for. Because I know teachers aren't using those because they're bad. They just don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
But poetry really gives students that opportunity to share their voice in a structured way.
Yes, I love it. Not only that, but with poetry, students can really build identity and community and confidence in their writing, which is so important. And it gives that writing genre a meaning. So using poetry as a tool and not just, hey, we're going to write poetry today, right? But really diving into why we're writing and building that identity with our students. And I love Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, is one of my favorites. And I'm telling you what, there's a video on YouTube with her speaking it to an audience, and she puts moves with her poetry, and you get this essence of who Maya Angelou is. And that is what I love to represent for our students. Like, this is yours. You take ownership of it, and no one can take it away from you. So, woo!
Yeah,
all the goosebumps. Yes.
I love that. And, it's beyond even our own love of poetry. There's so much research, which we have to bring in every episode. So the first, too many clicks. I knew I was going to click too far. The first one I wanted to share is actually from Sarah Holbrook. She wrote the book Practical Poetry. And, what I love about what she really emphasizes is that how much it encourages self-expression and really getting students to understand elements of writing, especially narrative writing, without full-on narratives. And I know we've talked about on here that we don't want to start the year with narratives. It's actually the hardest domain of writing. And yet there are elements of narrative. The pieces that teachers really want to connect to are about getting to know their students or having students really feel like they can express themselves. And so poetry is this beautiful bridge to say, okay, we know narrative is not what we want to do right now. It's developmentally really difficult. There's a lot that we want to teach on it. But I want to get to know my students. I don't want to dive into an informational report. So poetry is just this beautiful little bridge that we can use here at the beginning of the year.
It's also just a lot less intimidating than traditional prose, right? And there is research that backs this. Our Amber's crush, Graham. I'm surprised you let me talk about Graham. You don't want to talk about him yourself. But shorter forms like poetry, they really reduce that cognitive load, which helps all students, especially multilingual learners. But what's really funny, I think, is we talk a lot about how when you give a kid an essay, they're like, well, how long does it have to be? And I was sitting here thinking, I don't think I've ever heard a kid ask me, how long does it have to be when it comes to poetry, right? Because they get a little more creative expression. Again, there's a little less structure, not no structure, just the structure is different. And so it really does kind of lessen that feeling that they get at the beginning of the year with a prose prompt, because it just sets different expectations. And it makes it just way more accessible and less intimidating.
Love that. So true.
Yes. And the wonderful thing about poetry is that students can use this to tell their truths about either their home, their culture, or any challenges that they have, right? And to them, poetry helps allow them to be more honest in their writing than a regular like narrative, what did you do this summer, allows them to do. Another thing that I love is we can turn this into a partner project where partners are teaming up, or even tables are teaming up and sharing their poetry with each other, which builds empathy within your classroom. And that's how we can create a safe space in a classroom. But one thing I have to say, the safe space, absolutely, but I have gone a step further this year, and I've told all of my classes since we've already started school that this isn't just a safe space, it's also a brave space.
Ooh, I love that.
Sharing poetry and being so honest up front with their classmates and in front of the class really does create that expectation of a brave space within your classroom.
That's magical and going to really set the tone for the whole year, which is amazing, Megan. Yes. So poetry teaches all the things that we want students to learn: word choice and rhythm and tone and structure and building empathy, and getting students to just have that connection. And it does this one line at a time. So we are huge proponents of poetry. We love it. And so it's one just last slide that kind of sums up all the key things that it teaches. So you really can't go wrong with incorporating poetry throughout your year, and certainly here at the beginning.
Yes, and I kind of touched on this just a minute ago. It is more accessible than prose. You don't need 5 paragraphs, which you don't need 5 paragraphs in a prose essay either.
Oh, you don't, spoiler alert.
But poems are flexible, open-ended, and it's so crazy because and you kind of see this with prose too, but definitely more in poetry. You'll have some kid that literally just like fills up 3 notebook pages full of a poem, and then another kid that writes a haiku, right? And I also think they're able to connect with it too on a personal level, because there's just something about poetry that's just a little more intimate than prose, which makes it more accessible.
For sure. And the multilingual students that we have, I would encourage them to bring in not just their culture, their home experiences, their lived experiences, but also bringing in like their home language. Allow them that freedom to really showcase their voice and who they are. And then, of course, it's emotionally safe because students can be exactly who they are. Their poem can be Dr. Seuss funny. It can be bold and make a statement. It can be just honest about their identity. Like, the way that they write it is exactly who they're representing in their identity. And I think that's beautiful.
Oh, I'm really fast at clicking tonight. Yeah. So sorry, Megan, didn't mean to go over your slide.
No, you're fine. So poetry, it invites voice, identity, and connection, y'all. And it builds strong writers. And using it at the beginning of the school year, there's no better way of going about it.
Yes. All right. I'm just excited to get to this next slide. I think that's what it is, because we are so excited to announce that we have a contest that we are starting. So Writing with Design used to do monthly writing contests, and I'm so happy to be bringing those back. So we will have prompts each month that will be divided into different grade levels. There are gift cards up for winning by students and by you as teachers as well. So we are just really excited about that. And it's because contests were really important and integral for all of us. So we wanted to just share really briefly about contests that really shaped us. So Tabitha, you want to start on that?
Oh, yeah. So we were talking earlier. I've won quite a few writing contests in my time, but my favorite writing contest that I won, and I won a signed book by an author for it, but I had an author, Carrie Mesrobian. She writes YA, contemporary stories. She did a contest once on Twitter to write a poem, and I think it was a haiku actually, of your first kiss. And man, I wonder if I could go back in like the dredges of the Twitter archive and find that. But my first kiss was in a Taco Bell parking lot with a boy named Tim when I was 12 years old. And that is the poem I wrote about. And I won that contest because of that. I mean, that was probably like the silliest writing contest I've won, because I've definitely done writing contests that were a lot more serious and required a lot more effort on my part. But it was a poetry one.
Right.
It was really fun, and it was fun reading everybody else's submission. So I am going to dredge up my
Yeah,
old
I want to
Twitter
read it.
account tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
See
sure
if
a
I
lot of
can
people would want to read it.
Yeah.
We need this.
bring out the haiku.
Yeah.
We need to see it.
I'm gonna see if I can find that tonight. But
Nice.
that was a fun one.
Yeah. All right, Megan, what about you?
So I've won a few as well. One of them was for like my elementary school scholarship, and they had an essay writing contest about like your favorite teacher, most influential. And again, scholarship money and writing go hand in hand.
Hand in
folks,
hand. Yeah.
this is how you win money to go to school. But the one I'm probably most proud of, it was a presentation that I did, and I won Best Paper Award by a grad student. And the feedback that the other professors gave me on it and just winning that award really boosted my confidence in making that the whole theme of my thesis for my master's. And so I took it and ran with it, and the rest is history. So
Yes.
that one was pretty influential in my graduate college career. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And that just shows it's at every age. Mine actually dates all the way back to 8th grade. My mom was my US history teacher, and she put up on the bulletin board this essay competition, and it was by the veterans of foreign wars. We all had to write about what democracy meant to us, because she said, look, it's going to be for a grade, so you have to do it. And then one of you might win $100. And I won, and all my friends said it was rigged, and it wasn't. I won fair and square. But I love to share this story in trainings with teachers, and I always say it's like in the movie Inside Out, with Riley, with her core memories and how it builds those islands of her personality. Literally, that essay, winning that, is what created a whole island for me, because I just remember thinking, like, what else is out there? And as the fourth of 5 kids, like, there was not a college fund waiting for me. So it made me apply for every scholarship I could. I got so motivated, and just found every scholarship I could, to your point, Megan, all through high school. And it literally opened doors for me that I didn't even know were closed, right? I mean, the way that it opened my possibilities in my life I still can connect the dots back to that 8th grade writing. So that's truly the power of competitions, when your writing is noticed and seen and honored, and wins a prize or two. It can be transformative.
I found the haiku.
Did you?
Do you want me to read it?
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Megan's ready.
All right. Okay, so the theme was your first kiss. Okay. We're at Taco Bell. Your lips touch mine, and it's gross, kind of like their food.
I love it.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was great. Oh,
Gross.
Anyway, so I won a book. I won a signed book because of that. That's fun.
Oh, that was a perfect segue into our competitions. So here they are for August. We are so excited to share them for you. I am going to look at me be techie. I'm going to put this up for you so you can see the website of where to go. We will also link it in the show notes so you can learn more about it. But Tabitha, you get to talk about the first one.
Yes. So summer senses, even though school has started for some, we are technically in summer actually until September 21st. That's right? Like summer goes till September 21st. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's always funny because summer always seems to end like the minute school starts, right? Just like winter and Christmas, but I digress. Anyways, so this is for grades K through 2, and we want our kindergarten, first, and second graders to write a 5 senses poem, right? So our 5 senses on just like zooming in on one of your summer moments. And that could be as exciting as riding your first roller coaster or your ice cream melting on the sidewalk, right? Like just one moment from your summer that you can write about the 5 senses. And so I'm just going to pop in a little note here. All of our things here have guidelines like Amber's showing right now. So you can access the guidelines from your grade level band. And so we have an example on there, and there's like a template that you can kind of use to write yours. And then once you've decided what you're going to write about, all of those link to a form that you can either copy and paste your submission, or you can upload a doc or a PDF.
Awesome. Yeah. That's the one for K2. And I am going to now share the one for 3 through 8, which is the I am from poem. So our prompt is for students to write their own I am from poem that gives us a window into their world, using lots of sensory details and specific examples. And so here also is that structure. This aligns beautifully with how Writing with Design teaches all writing. So of course we're going to bring this into our poetry as well. And so this is not something that students have to follow verbatim. You know, we want students to find that voice and their own way of telling their poems. But this is just to get students started, or for students who do need those templates and want a very clear direction on what to do to fill up that blank page. We want to give that to them. So I love all the different categories for this one. So again, this one is a big grade swath. It's 3rd through 8th, and a really powerful prompt. So this is from a 4th grader, I am from, and you can just see, you get to know him so well. His storm gray couch and the smell of pancakes on Sunday, and his 2 dogs barking at squirrels, and tacos on Tuesday. So, you know, maybe he will have his first kiss too at Taco Bell. I'm just saying this could happen. I could see
there are way better places to have your first kiss. I mean, my mom was in the Taco Bell, like, just, you know, we were so scared we were going to get caught.
I love it. But yeah, but just, you know, you learn so much about this young man from this poem. I mean, I want him in my class. I want to get to know him even more. And it's just through a few lines of what he gets to write and share about himself here. So, so neat to see what students put into their poems. And then lastly, we have one of my all-time favorites. So Megan, I'm not going to steal it from you, but I just have to throw that in there. This is one of my favorite children's books. And yes, children's books for 9th through 12th grade is a must.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So this is our high school prompt, 9th through 12. If you're not from, and it's a poem that gives us repetition, imagery, voice, and it helps the students explore who they are through the lens of traits, experiences, or family.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this is the cover of this book. And it's not only is it just a really powerful poem, but the images. Riplinger's images are incredible. Bouchard's words are so rich. So there are, oh, go ahead.
It's a really unique take on where you are from, because, you know, a lot of the points are like, if you aren't from this place, you wouldn't understand, you know, and I think that's a really cool lens to look at, you know, who you are.
Yeah. People from Maine don't understand my obsession with sweet tea. They don't get it because they don't have it. All right.
Wait, do you have sweet tea? Do they have sweet tea in Colorado Springs?
We do, because we have Chick-fil-A. That's our sweet tea. So yes, they do.
You're set then. Yeah, I do. To your point, I love this book because it is all about coming from the prairie and the wind and the sun and kind of elements of the prairie. And then what we get to ask our high school students to do is, if you don't know me, you don't know my, and then they get to tell you about a trait or a passion or a habit. And it's just such a great way to get to know your students. So templates are there, and then I will turn it back over to you, Megan, because I keep wanting to talk about this because it's just my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And like we've been talking about creating that culture and the confidence and the identity within your classroom. This is how you do it. It doesn't seem silly to high schoolers, and they want to talk about, well, how are we different? Well, you might not know this about my home, or you might not know this about my identity. So let me tell you. And it's such a brave way of really showcasing their identity through writing. I love it.
So it's not, I'm going to ask a question here. It's not pedantic, this activity.
No, this activity is not pedantic. It is incredibly meaningful.
Oh, yes.
Incredibly perfect.
I'm just kidding, viewers. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Let's see. Did it bring it back? No, it did not. I was hoping it would just bring back the one we were doing, but we're just gonna have to click back on it. So
okay. Well,
party foul. Let's go back down here.
These prompts they're not just fun and nice. They're very intentional and they seem fun, but they have a meaning behind them. Like there's a lot of pieces and writing features that your students will tap into by writing these and participating in them. And it builds writing craft from the very beginning, even at the poetry level.
Yeah, and they're very low stakes, high voice, and again, we want students to build in their confidence, and these are always writings that they're really, really proud of at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to encourage you to ditch those, tell us 3 goals or tell us about what you did over the summer, and have students have these really purposeful poetry experiences, and then also enter into these contests. So we didn't talk about this, but there is a link here. It'll take you to a Google form, and you can submit for your students, or you can share it with them. There's the site again. I popped it up earlier, but there it is again. We'll put it in the show notes so you'll have it. But we want to see incredible student writing. It's one of our favorite things to do, is to sit around and read all the beautiful work that students turn in for this.
And Nixie wants to see them too.
Nixie,
she's going to read all the contest entries.
Yes, she will be choosing it for sure, choosing the winner. So we want you to share in your classrooms, share with us, so that students really do develop that authentic voice, and they really learn that words matter, because they do. And that ultimately is our goal here at Writing with Design, is to help teachers and students find their voice, find why writing matters, find the purpose in it, and find the confidence to share their thoughts out in the world. So we want to thank you for joining us tonight and talking about poetry and back to school. And we wish all of you all just an absolute best start to the school year. And we can't wait to see your entries coming in.
Yes.
Yay. All right. Have a good night, everyone.